Welcome to Proverbs. We're going to study Proverbs 31. The wisdom of the Proverbs 31 woman. Wisdom is personified as a godly woman we have seen in several sections of Proverbs. But in Proverbs 31, the virtuous woman is godly wisdom in the flesh. Foolishness is in the flesh of the adulterous woman, and Solomon gave 3 warnings of the adulterous woman in chapters 5, 6, and 7. Wisdom is relational. Wisdom is social, we see. Her advice is in chapter 31, 1-9. The advice usually comes from the father. We saw in the 15 fatherly admonitions in chapters 1-9. The advice comes from the mother in Proverbs 31, 1-9. Her example is in verses 10-31. Her advice, to pursue purity, her right to be heard. She gave birth to him. Solomon dedicated 3 fatherly admonitions to warning, but then we know from his biography in 1 Kings 3-11, he disobeyed his own advice. She also advises the king to avoid drunkenness. Solomon reflects on his wasted years in Ecclesiastes 2:1-11. Solomon disobeyed this godly mother's advice with wine, with women. But then she says, in addition to pursuing purity, avoiding drunkenness, to treat the poor fairly. Avoid drunkenness. Leaders should not drink so they will not forget. Leaders should give drink to the suffering as for medicinal purposes so they will forget. Wine can be used as a sedative or as a painkiller. That's Kathleen Farmer's view. So you have a lot of different views on this. I list them here. This one from Warren Wiersbe: alcohol cannot be used to help solve problems. The issue of abstinence or moderation is not addressed. This is John Kitchen. In the days before medical advances, it had medicinal value. 1 Timothy 5:23, take a little wine for your stomach's sake. In those in positions of leadership do not have the liberties of those with lesser responsibilities. These 2 verses should not be read as authorization for drunkenness to avoid responsibilities and problems, but as a backhanded way of underscoring the responsibility one placed in position of leadership. This is John Kitchen's view. Pete Stevenson's view: alcohol may be used for medicinal purposes and even emotional issues. Temper Longman, moderation. He advocates moderation. Dwayne Garrett and Bruce Walke: alcohol used for medicinal purposes or emotional issues is not advocated in these verses. Dwayne Garrett again just continues to say that alcohol is not to be used for medicinal purposes according to Proverbs 31, 6 and 7. Moderation is advocated by Alan P. Ross. Colin Delage: moderation is advocated. John Phillips: abstinence is advocated. My conclusion: the issue of abstinence or moderation cannot be settled from these verses in Proverbs 31, 6-7. The issue is more clearly settled in the New Testament, though there's much disagreement. I would say that we Paul wrote to the Corinthians that he would not be brought under the power of any. And there's just a risk if you socially drink or drink in moderation that can lead to alcoholism. Norman Geisler says that 1 out of 10 who socially drink become alcoholics. And so the best advice is if you don't take the first drink, you will never become an alcoholic.